My name is Sarah Ross. I'm an Amherst native. Went away to college and recently moved back with my husband and 2 children. So when we came to this whole process, we knew we wanted to build a responsible home, and to us that did mean energy efficient. We knew we wanted to build a home that was going to accommodate our growing family. But we didn't necessarily have all the language to describe what that was going to mean precisely. And so in working with our architects and our builders, we were able to flesh out what a responsible home for us meant. And to us, energy efficiency was first and foremost the important piece. So we spent most of our time thinking about how to make the shell most efficient and let all of the decisions about interior finishes or siding those are really secondary. So we focused primarily on the shell of the building and the systems and making sure those were energy efficient. So some of the energy efficient features of the house, to start with the shell, first is the wall itself. So the walls have both spray foam on the inside of the walls, and we also built the walls out with 2 layers of rigid foam board. They taped all the seams. We were very careful about how they put all these pieces together. The basement also is insulated. Other parts of the walls are, of course, the windows. So windows are a large source of heat loss, and so we bought triple pane insulated windows, fiberglass sash that is also insulated. So those, and the doors also are insulated in fiberglass. Those complete the tight shell of the house. Then we power the house through very efficient means. So we have a 12.4 kilowatt solar PV system on the roof that provides more than enough energy for the whole house. So we actually produce 30% more electricity than we need. The whole house is electric, so we use no other fuel source. All of our appliances, our heating, our cooling, our hot water, everything runs off of electricity. On the appliance side, we have a induction stovetop, which is an electric source. We also have a mechanical ventilation of air, so once you build this tight shell, then you worry about having a healthy turnover of air, and so we mechanically ventilate the building with what's called an HRV, a heat recovery ventilator. So when people come in the house, it's not immediately obvious that this is an energy efficient home. You don't see the insulation in the walls. People don't necessarily look up and notice the lights. What you see are some of the finishes. So the floors are all local FSC ash, so Forest Stewardship Council, I believe that stands for. So good hardwood to stand up to 2 young children running around. The floors in here are slate. The countertops are slate. And then we were able to remove, so this first floor was a warren of small rooms before, and we were able to remove those by installing large structural beams, which you can see behind me. These they're called PSLs, polystrand lumber. They're commonly used in construction, but people often wrap them with drywall, and we liked the look of them, so we left them exposed. So the lights in the house, by and large, are all LEDs. These are LED cans that we use to light our kitchen, our dining room, most of the first floor, and we won't have to replace these. There's no bulb to replace. They should last for 15 plus years and use very, very little electricity to run. The other energy efficient system within the house is our heating and cooling system. So it's an air source heat pump, which is still somewhat uncommon in this area. These are part of a new generation of heat pumps that are actually cold weather, climate appropriate, and still operate in a very efficient manner even when it gets cold like it does up here in New England. So we were able to heat and cool our house with 1 unit in a very energy efficient manner. So we knew when we were building this home that apart from being an energy responsible home, it was also going to make our family more resilient. And a good example of that was when we had that snowstorm in October. We had no power in this house, just like everyone else, for I think it was 3.5 days. We were coming and going to see in-laws across the street, and even so, the temperature in this house, we keep it probably at 69 in the winter. It only fell to 67 after 3.5 days of having no heat. And that's what you get when you have a very energy efficient, tight house, is the heat that you put in stays in. and you lose it, very, very slowly. So this house can go for probably a week without any heat source. Just the kind of inhabitants, the 4 inhabitants and our cat are enough to keep a house like this warm even in the dead of winter. So when my husband and I approached the decision of whether to install solar or not, we talked through with the installer kind of the attributes of what a system for our site would look like, how big it should be to kind of accommodate our load, and how much money that was going to cost. Solar is a sizable investment, and yet it's a great investment if you look at it from a financial perspective. It kind of beats a return that the stock market can provide, and with much less risk. The other thing that was important to us, or valuable to us, was that we're protecting our family from any increases in the cost of electricity. So as the cost of electricity goes up, our investment actually gets better because we know month in and month out that our electricity is being provided by our roof, and we're not exposed to that kind of those kind of price increases. So one of the ways that solar makes good financial sense for us is that through net metering in Massachusetts, you can actually sell your excess electricity back to the grid. So when we're producing electricity all day, we're not here, we're at work, we feed that to the grid and we build up a credit with the utility, with MECO, and then we draw down at night or on a cloudy day when we're not producing as much. So that balancing act that through net metering allows us to really bank all of our excess production with the utility. So my utility bill, when it comes, I actually am excited to get my electric bill because it says negative $800. So it's a whole shift in thinking about what a utility bill should look like. The other thing that helps us maintain an energy efficient home is being conscious of our energy usage from day to day. We have a device that sits on our countertop called a TED, and that shows us at every given time, in real time, how much energy we're using for different sources. So our plug load, our HVAC system, our hot water heater, and then actually how much we're producing from our solar array on the roof. So I can actually kind of adjust our energy usage. I can set my dishwasher to run at noon when the sun is high in the sky, and really match our production on site with our usage on site. I had an opportunity with this house to bite off everything at once. But friends and family that I talk to who also want to make energy efficiency improvements to their homes, but don't have the opportunity to do it all at once like we did, I basically tell them it's a matter of finding the low-hanging fruit and biting off what you can do in pieces. And there are many of those kind of pieces that are available in most homes, from replacing windows to upgrading appliances to doing air sealing and weatherization. A good place to start is to get a free energy audit of your house. And those people will come in and look at where you are right now and assess kind of what the priority items are from their perspective, and actually connect you with contractors and some financial support to get the work done. We accessed some of that support, so we got a zero interest heat loan, which is through a state program, and that we used towards replacement of our windows because this house came with single pane windows, so we were able to access that. So there are some forms of financial support, but it does take some work and education on behalf of consumers.